What is up, everybody? I'm NoLucksGiven here with your afternoon snap, and I just hit infinite with AnnihiLoki. This is sort of a pet deck of mine. Nobody is really running it, but I think the deck is still quite good and potentially even better than when I first came up with it a few weeks ago. I think that there's a few things that have changed since the deck has come out that make it pretty good. One thing to note too, I am now playing Collector over Carnage in the 2-cost slot. Otherwise, I am playing the same deck list that I posted a few weeks ago. And I think that the main things that have changed is, one, no America Chavez in any Loki lists. I never actually ran it in this list, so I'm not really missing it. And I think this deck just has a bunch of cards that it wants to play on the final turn of the game anyways. So yes, you do go down a little bit in consistency, but you have more overall power because you're not drawing a dead card on the final turn of the game. And the deck just has a lot of ways to put out a bunch of power, which I think is particularly well suited right now, specifically the Sentry plus Annihilus combo for 27 power. More or less ensures that you have priority going into the final turn, and with the combination of Werewolf and Collector, oftentimes you are winning all 3 locations, and that just doesn't give your opponent any chance to react. You'll see that in some of these games coming up. We're going to look at some games that I played like a few days ago, and then we'll take a look at like the last 4 or 5 games before I hit infinite just a few moments ago. AnnihiLoki. Okay. Well, AnnihiLoki's a little bit weird because it allows you to really dump your hand, but if this seems like my opponent's playing a deck that Loki is good against, then Elysium's just going to exacerbate that. Okay, another high Evo list. Is this the anti-blob tech that everybody's running today? I'm not sure. Alright, Collector is huge, potentially even snap-worthy. Really just have to figure out how much I want to use Loki versus how much I just want to like play all of these other cheap and sweet cards. I'm definitely playing Collector this turn. I could just Viper over this. Could also certainly see just playing Debris this turn. We can't really junk them in this location. So let's play Debris here. That gives me some options for where I want to drop that Viper. Oh, there you can see the mouse lag. For whatever reason, my mouse just like getting caught in weird places on Marvel Snap. My opponent plays nothing this turn, so we now are winning. Feels like leading with Collector is good. Playing Viper is good. Honestly, it feels like playing Okoye is pretty good here too. It's just a 1/4. It's like a pretty good rate. Yeah, let's just see where this takes me. I'll probably still play Loki next turn because we are still going to stock up our hand a little bit with the Snow Guard. And I don't think I care about the Snow Guard cards. Elysium is pretty good with, at the very least, Sunspot. Maybe, probably high Evo too, but definitely Sunspot at the very least. And if my opponent had like Cyclops, they weren't really incentivized to play it last turn. They would have been incentivized to play it this turn though. So that's a little bit interesting. Okay, I junk myself in Wakandan Embassy, but it's not a big deal because we've got Collector there, who's still going to grow a lot. So it's just about if I want to play the Hood to grab a Demon after I Loki, but I think I'd rather just Loki here. Oh, I'll snap. My opponent hasn't done anything. This kind of feels like a bait, and that they do have good plays into Elysium in the late game. Imagine they just play Taskmaster this turn, copy Sunspot. Maybe could have played Loki into Elysium. I don't know. Aunt May's is going to be, I think, more easily winnable. We got a good idea of what my opponent is playing this turn after we Loki them. Could have been strong to like save Snowguard Hawk as well, turn off Elysium going into the final turns of the game, and then my opponent can't use it. That might have really caught them off guard too. But looks like there are going to be more turns than we expected. We will get to leech my opponent, and if they leech us, then we Infinite them, which is pretty gravy. And then we also found the Annie as well. That can give them a rock to junk them in limbo, which feels like it might be more winning than leech. Especially because if they play leech this turn, I'd much rather them just leech my Infinite and I get to do Annihilus stuffs. Seems quite strong. That feels like a leech to me. Nice, we called it. What is Nico doing? Nico can try to move the leech. Would have loved Nico to turn off the location, but unfortunately we don't have that in the cards. I mean, this really does feel like it has to be a retreat for my opponent. Just gonna leave open Aunt May's. I'm trying to figure out if I'm doing anything at all here. Not even convinced playing high evolutionary is good. I kind of want to play something, otherwise it might make my opponent realize that I have Infinite, which is like a very silly and almost backwards way about it. So I guess I'm just playing Leech into Limbo, because I can already play all of this stuff next turn. If I find something better than High Evo, then that's fine. Like if I just find Sentry to play into Elysium instead. Yeah. Cyclops and High Evo for my opponents. Still going to be able to flip Elysium. We don't find the Sentry, we find Werewolf. And Nico has to get played last now. Yeah, it still just gets played last. Alright, seems good to me. Alright, my opponent is staying in it. What do they have in Elysium, and what do they have in Aunt May's? That's a 26 power Hulk, but a Misty Knight ain't quite gonna cut it. Even with the Sunspot Soak and the Cyclops activation, we'll get him with the Leeched Infinite. That is the one awkward thing that I've noticed with this list specifically. It's playing Leech, but then it's also like recognizing that Infinite's kind of a cool card right now. So yeah, I don't really know exactly what Leech does in the deck specifically. Other than, I guess you're leeching your opponent and then you're taking 2 additional turns after that fact. I guess that's pretty cool. I'll snap 2 Cloning Vats on Loki. Not gonna Nico here. Gonna try to do like Spell Nico into Cloning Vats. Grab me another The Hood. Or just use Falcon. Wow. Okay, wait, I would snap again if they let me. This is crazy, crazy good. But this is after you play your next card, so I'm not sure how the order of this works. That seems good, and I'd also like to pick up the Hood first and foremost with Falcon before I pick up my rocks. So let's see how this looks. Do I get a 5 power Debris back in my hand with Cloning Vats? Okay, they get a Psylocke in an Elysium game. That's kind of cool. Nice, I get a 5-power debris back in my hand. Seems good. So now I debris. Could actually just Viper and then debris. No. Tell you why. I'm going to pick up as many rocks as I can. That's going to look like this. So still give me a full hand, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that gives me a full hand to Loki away next turn. I'm fine picking up a little bit of Vibranium now. But we're going to Loki away a full hand and leave them with some rocks. While also not giving myself that many rocks because I blocked a rock in Elysium. Okay, that seems like a pretty good turn of phrase here. Don't see a reason to do... Oh, I guess I could debris again. But then it's a little bit awkward. That I'm actually giving them... I don't know, seems pretty good to me. Let's go for this. They're like still incentivized to avoid Vibranium Mines a little bit, but they are going to fill Vibranium Mines up. Now I'm in a little bit of an awkward spot, but they've got no space. They're bricked in Vibranium Mines. I could even force them into Elysium here. Yeah, maybe this is just a turn 5 game. Like now they have to play into Elysium and they need to put... Oops, sorry. They need to play into Elysium and they need to put 14 power there this turn, or they lose, or they need Killmonger, at which point I'm out of it as well. Alright, it's a junk game, baby. Debris plus Elysium. I did kind of do the Falcon debris Elysium thing, which I talked about way back in my very first AnnihiLoki video. But we're doing it big in this one. Okay, could have played debris in the other order and completely locked my opponent out. It's definitely something to at least consider. Devil Dinosaur is actually going to be big enough to battle with Loki. Wow, okay, but they have to put 13 power into cloning vats? No way they have 13 power for cloning vats. Is this a bot? It doesn't really feel like a bot. They did play a naked rogue. Alright, it's a bot. Okay, it's not a bot. Maybe it was. Who knows? We get some cubes back either way. And we're trying to see basically... So I didn't really describe the premise of this super well. But the idea is, can I hit infinite before I complete my daily missions? So at this point... I basically just have to never win a location with only one card, and it's possible. But if I ever win a location with only one card, then I need to hit infinite that game. So we'll see how close I get to making this all a reality here. I could also just win 2 more games for 8 cubes and then be very, very close to infinite. Sentry is potentially a way that you win a location with only one card in multiple ways with Sentry because of Annihilus. Alright, Altar of Death. Looking like a pretty big game. I can sneak into the altar with Werewolf. So I don't want to do anything super crazy just yet. Loki pretty good against Thanos decks. Opponent's going to snap. I'm willing to hear them out here, though. Just don't want to get professored and locked out of Altar of Death. So, like, what happens if I do this? Then next turn I've got 7 energy. I could play Werewolf and then Loki into Altar. But then I don't have that many cards. Actually, I have the Hawk form, and I kind of like the Hawk form. Like, I like both of them. All right. Let's make this play. They're going to Psylocke, so they are going to have a ton of energy next turn as well. The important thing here is this gives me 2 more draws to get into Loki. Now, my opponent does have priority. If they play Professor, I will actually be fine here, though. I don't want them to Professor me in Stark Tower, so I think I just do this. Steal 4 of their cards, threaten Werewolf in Altar, still have a decent amount of card draw. I like Hawk and I like Falcon, but I think Werewolf can win us Altar, and then I'll just try to steal some big cards from my opponent. Vision, so that's going to be Vision plus Time Stone, no Professor, but a decent amount of energy still for my opponent next turn. Let's steal some big cards and see what we can do. Blob is on the menu. Blob will move Werewolf. Psylocke can move it back. I don't want to destroy my whole deck on turn 4, though, that's for sure. Huh. Yeah, playing a bunch of stuff to Stark Tower to get that trigger is pretty good. Thanos plus Nico. I'm going to move all of my movement cards over into Stark. Might move Jeff out to move debris in. That was something that I was somewhat considering. Though I'm also incentivized this turn to debris in Altar, move Werewolf over. What's a little bit awkward is that the Blob isn't super great with the Werewolf, because it might move my Werewolf around. But this is what I'm thinking for right now. Blob currently gets plus 14. Tracker's really good for Blob. And then might play like Nico or Maria or Viper plus Blob this turn. They Alioth for nothing. For nada. We rock them, but they can still move Vision out, and they can move Vision into Altar to win the Altar, which is something else I have to consider. Oh, though I also have a bunch of mobility cards here as well. So it feels like my play is like something like this. Wait, what spell is this? Double this card's power? Sure. Blob double can't be destroyed here. I don't even know if I like moving the Werewolf out of Altar of Death. I might just like throwing Blob in Wakanda. Maybe that's better. I mean, it's only a 12 power Blob. Well, 16 power. I'm down by like a pretty considerable lead. If they just move Vision into this location, then I've kind of played myself. Let's see what this does. Okay, cool. They played for Altar of Death, and we got him in Wakanda with the Blobster. There we go. First win with Blob. Don't own it yet, That's part of the fun of Loki, getting to win with the cool cards that other people are playing with. Alrighty, so in this one, we've got Annihilus and Falcon and Sentry. Pretty good start. Could snap just to Annihilus Sentry, but we'll see if we can get a little bit more synergy. We don't have many of our cheap cards here. Here's Nico. I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm just going to play Falcon here for just a little bit of additional power, maybe. But not super impressed with this start. New York does allow your opponent to kind of like remove some junk, and Mini Lab is kind of in an interesting spot here. Because Mini Lab just bricks the Sentry, which means we don't have to play Annihilus. We are now just a Sentry for 12 power deck. But it's probably worth still staying in it for a second here. Alright, my opponent's going to wave. Not really going to make use of the wave. It's a reasonable snap by my opponent. If we play Sentry Center and my opponent Galactuses me in Lemuria, I'll feel a little bit bad about that. Let's see what they got. No, they go Center. This feels like a Professor. Oh, it's a Blob. Okay, fair enough. Well, waved out Blob means that now my opponent is done drawing cards, so they have to get by with the remaining cards that they have in hand here. There might be a way around that yet. Let's just play it like this. It's going to mean no more power in Lemuria, but we can easily get more power into the Mini Lab with whatever we draw here. And they've got no play this turn. So this kind of makes me feel like we could be seeing a Taskmaster or something on the final turn. Just a 26 power Taskmaster, and they want to make sure that I have priority, so that way I can't hope to, like, Shang-Chi it or anything. So the real thing that would be really interesting here is if we're able to grab a win in New York, which is certainly possible. We take a look. It's just 13 power. That puts me up to 25. Yeah, not quite going to get the power that we need in New York. So I feel like they're just going to play Taskmaster into Miniaturized Lab. That seems pretty tough to beat. The best thing that I feel like I have is like this, and then I beat Taskmaster in Lemuria. I feel like that's actually overkill, and I should just play it like this, though. I think this still beats Taskmaster here. My best judgment is telling me to just retreat right now. Alright, I'll retreat. Oh, alright, never mind, I'm playing it. Looks like it's Taskmaster then, probably. I meant to retreat. Just didn't get it off in time. But what can you do? We'll bring over the werewolf into Lemuria, and if they just have Shang-Chi... Oh, Infinite. I beat Infinite. Okay, cool. Meant to retreat, but I'll take it. 4 cubes to start off the video. Not necessarily the best showing, but it does speak to something that I definitely think is strong with the deck right now, which is just like, it puts up a lot of power in every location, typically with the Sentry Annihilus combo, but sometimes just with Loki and Werewolf by Night and Collector. Just puts up a lot of power in all 3 locations typically, and your opponent only gets 1 blob, generally. I don't know why I didn't think of the fact that if they skipped on turn 5, it is just Taskmaster, but that is kind of why I liked sending the Werewolf to the right. But I didn't have the power to beat Taskmaster. I did have the power to beat Infinite. Maybe somewhere in my mind I was considering that. All right, Tinker's Workshop. This is not a great Nico for me, which is a little bit of a bummer. We'll just kick things off with Snow Guard. Well, I'm going to Snow Guard here, realizing that we could use Bear form into Tinker's Workshop if we find, like, Superflow this turn. That could be really interesting. Nope, that's going to be Subterranea. Okay. So now I can use Nico to get an additional copy of Snow Guard Bear, or Snow Guard Hawk to give my, just shuffle in a bunch of rocks for everyone. And then Loki my opponent to kind of mitigate my own rocks. It's kind of fun. I mean, there's no reason not to drop a Nico on extra cards form. I could see snapping to Subterranea here. It's a bit of a bully move. And Eternity Range for some additional rocks. So I'm getting a bunch of rocks here. We're going to make sure my opponent also gets a bunch of rocks. And then I'm going to snap and drop Loki. And I'm going to be better off because I'm not going to have any rocks, whereas they will. Probably won't be playing the Sentry. Alright, and what do they have on turn 3? That's going to be a Storm, but not quite fast enough here. They're going to get a rock from Eternity Range, and they are losing in the flooded location. And now I have access to Collector in the flooded location. Turn 5 Loki seems just as good as a turn 4 Loki, especially when I can drop a Collector here that's going to win this flooded location, even amidst the Jeff. It's a good Jeff play, just not quite good enough. I'm going to play Loki here. I think it's about the same, regardless of where I play it, but let's drop Loki here, and let's steal some cards from my opponent's deck. This hopefully gives me priority. They'd have to move both of their, like, move Jeff here and then play a card here in order to get priority going into the final turn. But I'm just going to try to get priority, play Alioth on the final turn. All right, they're going to move, or Alioth, sorry. They're going to move over Nightcrawler and try to battle for priority here, but they're going to miss, and they're going to lock it down with Professor X. They can still win this location with Jeff, but they will lose here to Gamora, so they will have to retreat. And that now gets me one step closer, 2 cubes closer, two steps to infinite for the season. We are almost there then. One more game could still do it. We'll need an 8-cuber or a 4-cuber and a 2-cuber. However way we gotta get there, we'll do it. The Hood, Nico, and Loki plus Olympia with Collector. Okay, this is a really, really fantastic start. If I play this, I don't get a draw next turn, so I'll probably just drop the Hood here. Then play Collector next turn unless I hit like a really fantastic Nico. But I think the goal here, I could even just not play the Hood and play a bunch of stuff on turn 4, because I kind of like Collector into Werewolf, into 1-cost cards, into Loki on turn 5 again. Let's play the Hood. You know what? Let's not play the Hood. I think that we're just already in such a fantastic position. Now that is interesting. So now I've got the opportunity to play like this, which will overdraw me, so I guess it's not the best. I'll just drop Collector. This is going to mean I lose the ability to Nico draw, but we could still hit the other Nico draw ability here. I'm going to be putting a ton into Olympia because I don't really want to play anything into Danger Room, but Kamartaj is crazy here. That's going to be a snap. I think the plan... Now I'm considering just turn 4 playing Loki into Kamartaj, but I think playing Snowguard plus Loki into Kamartaj is going to be a little bit better. So I think I will Werewolf. Yeah, but I don't really need to Sentry. Could just do this. Gives me 2 more demons, and then next turn I can just play Loki. And that's pretty straightforward too. Yeah, I like this enough. Let's go for this. So it's going to give me 2 demons, junk my opponent a little bit in Kamartaj, and then they're going to Polaris my Collector over. So I'm going to have way too much power over in Kamartaj. And I could now take the opportunity to play Nico and like add 2 werewolves to my hand or add 2 Lokis to my hand. I think that's how that works. Do like something like that. Nah, I don't think that that's worth it. Feel like this is just a straightforward Loki game. I do have some other strong stuff here, but I think that this is good enough for now. Alright, they fill up Kamartaj to potentially play around the Sentry, and it does look like it is going to be a Silver Surfer deck. We do briefly have Silver Surfer shenanigans before getting rid of them. Collector should just win me Kamartaj. They could play Killmonger this turn to destroy the hood, and then they'll be able to Shadow King here. But there's nothing really that I want to do into that. Let's just play Forge, play Brood. Play Nova. And I'm really just not going to worry about Shadow King. I guess I could play Shadow King and then play Killmonger. No, I don't want to play Killmonger and open up the ability for them to Shadow King me back. So I have to hang on to Killmonger for a second. Yeah, they really are tempted to Killmonger this turn, and I guess if they do, then we have Silver Surfer into Kamartaj as well, so it's not the end of the world. We'll lay this out here first. I think Forge into Brood is still really good. That might be exactly what my opponent is doing here too. We'll find out in a moment here. Yeah, maybe could have saved my own Shadow King. No, just a Sarah. So they're going to be able to drop a bunch on the final turn. Oh, they're not going to be able to do nothing. Alrighty. So let's just play Killmonger, Maria, Silver Surfer, wrap it up. Sorry, friend. Sorry, friend. Victory. But that ain't it. Yeah, they really needed Killmonger and further Sarah to maybe not get destroyed. 3 cubes away now from hitting infinite. This was a pretty short play session, but like I probably said at the beginning of the video, didn't film the intro yet, but I will probably include some other clips. I did this like a few days ago and just got a little bit tired, but today it's going well. Sakaar could be really interesting for me. Not snapping here. We lose the Annihilus. That's unfortunate, and they get Living Tribunal. Alright, might take me a few more games than I had initially intended. I don't have any way to pick this Annihilus up. All I really have is Loki. to potentially try to do what their deck is doing. Okoye Living Tribunal is not what I was expecting, I will say that. I feel like Okoye makes me want to stay in this, because I don't know what the heck Okoye is even doing here. If I hit another 1-cost card, I might play 1-cost plus Falcon next turn, so I think Werewolf is a good setup here. Alright, Wave. Now I have less idea of what's going on. Nothing to be done. Let's just drop a Loki, see what happens. That's going to be Giganto into Sakaar for pretty nice power output by my opponent. I am going to get to steal a fair amount of that power, and it looks like it's Blob. Oh, Blob plus Living Tribunal is going to be nearly impossible to beat. Well, I'll drop my own Living Tribunal. I know it's not going to be nearly as strong as what my opponent is doing. Red Skull isn't that good, though. Like, if that lands here, yeah, it's only 7 power on this final turn. Now I'm only down by 1. Oh, no, I'm down by a little bit more than that. So the idea here would be like bounce Werewolf around a few times and then just drop a little bit more power. I can't see how that's ever competitive with what my opponent is doing, though. I lose to Eliath. I lose to Blob. This one's got to be a retreat. How do you retreat again? Oh, yeah. Haven't been retreating that often. Truth is, I mostly play on mobile. So, yeah. But that's kind of funny. If you like don't know where the retreat button is, then you're probably not playing Marvel Snap optimally. But we'll get out of this one, save ourselves some cubes. I'm going to do the slow retreat. Could snap here, too. I guess it's free. Okay. And they escaped. End the turn. So down to 2 cubes again. And more or less 8 cubes away from hitting infinite. Just like I can't get... The only way to hit infinite this game is with an 8-cuber. Okay, Murder World, kind of interesting. Hood into Murder World makes a lot of sense, but this looks like a classic, like, junk game. Like, I might play Debris into Murder World, just so that way we can give my opponent all the rocks and stuff. Alright, Quinjet. Yeah, I mean, I can reset this. I don't love Quinjet plus Mindscape. They're going to be able to steal all of my cards and play them on the final turn. Kind of is bad, or kind of is good against Loki. So that's a little bit spooky. Let's pick up Hood and maybe make another demon or something. We'll get a huge demon from that. That's kind of crazy. Okay, we do get to take out Quinjet. That is pretty cool. Could even just do this here now. We can't junk them here. We can't junk them here. I'm actually just kind of feeling this. Contribute power to the board, take out their Quinjet, next turn play a Loki, and then on turn 5 try to dump as much of my hand as I can. But it is awkward that much of my hand that I'm going to dump will kind of just come right back to them. We can always kill this Quinjet later, but it does feel like the sooner we kill it, the better off we are. So that kind of just makes me want to play Werewolf. Werewolf's never bad. Let's play Werewolf and let's snap. Just because Quinjet is such in an awkward place here. Kind of scummy to do like a late turn snap there, how we did it. But that is fine. We will now only be 4 cubes away. Yeah, only 7 cubes needed to rank up. Feels like so little, but 4 cubes away. Didn't really do the math on the fact that when I started out this video, I was only actually like 14, 13 cubes away from hitting infinite. That's pretty dang close. But I just played like a little bit off stream or off camera here the past few days, and you know, number go up. What can you do? Viper Hood is a pretty good start. Collector's also nice. Mindscape adds some nice power to the Collector. What's Nico on? Ooh, that's a good Nico. All right, let's snap. This allows me to go turn 2 Collector, turn 3 Collector, Hood, turn 4 Viper, give them the Hood. All of that seems really fantastic. Soulstone, I don't think going to be too big of a deal. All right, we've got Annie here now as well. This does leave me limited space in terms of where I can put Viper, but that's no longer a concern. They lose their Shang-Chi. That seems pretty good to me. I'm going to split up my collectors. And yeah, we'll just play Maria here. They're incentivized to fill this location pretty quickly. Okay, Mindscape they have to get rid of just because of how good it would be for Collector for me. They could fill this up with Elsa, but I feel like that's not great for them. Triple Collector game is absolutely hilarious. I think it's somewhat cute that we can try to give them the Hood in negative zone, but I feel like ultimately they are going to fill the negative zone themselves. So I shouldn't get too cute with it, and I should just play the Hood into Sokovia. I guess I'm hoping to draw like Loki for the final turn of the game. Yeah, they did fill the negative zone. That's pretty straightforward. And it was with Jeff, so they'll be able to play around that pretty easily. We do have priority here now, which means Professor won't be able to stop the Hood. Professor will still be pretty good for my opponent, though. Oh, this also ships them Nico, or just destroys Nico, giving me a little bit more power in the negative zone. I do want to play Annie Center. I'll rock that. Oh, they move Jeff, but that means that, like, Professor's going to show up here or something. We'll destroy our Nico and give them the Hood. I think that that's going to be quite good. I've already snapped for sure. Devil Dinosaur. With the additional power, Devil Dinosaur's strong, but I don't think it's the end-all, be-all here. So this is +3 in this location. I'm already winning in Crimson Cosmos. Maybe I like play around. It's +4. +3, 4, 5. That ties it up in the negative zone. No, it doesn't, because Soulstone gets demonized. This is actually 0 power to that location, though. So here's what we could do then. Instead, Collector, I have to figure out which of these two is better. Oh, it's neither of them. I thought I could play all of these things, but I'm just going to play Sentry. Oh, that moves over the werewolf. That seems like overkill then. Sure. I think this is still fine. Yeah, they're just going to retreat. I think that we just had enough power there. That's basically what this deck is just trying to do. Just present a bunch of power, winning on every location, and have flexible game plans. So overthought it there too much. My opponent just slow retreated. And now I am 2 cubes away from hitting infinite. And we should be able to get it done in just 1 or 2 more games here. Collector's pretty nice. Rickety Bridge is interesting. Debris to clear the bridge, kind of funky. Could like throw Maria here early, and that kind of puts my opponent in a tough space where they have to at least play a card to take over the bridge. I think I'm fine with that. I could just see wanting to curve out. Now, playing Debris means I'm going to destroy the Rickety Bridge, but I don't mind opening up some room for myself here either. Okay, Mysterio, another way to destroy the cards on the bridge. Sakar gonna activate here. That is fine. I'll play Collector into the unrevealed location because I don't want to have Sentry and Collector in the same spot. Would be somewhat happy to have Mysterio land here. Okay, it's just going to be Debris. That'll clear the bridge. Give my opponent a bit of junk. They're still doing well enough here. And then our third location is going to be Quantum Realm. So Quantum Realm, not bad with Mysterio. It's actually fine with Werewolf by Night because it's already shrunk down. I would maybe like to cancel the Void by filling Quantum Realm. And then I also have Hawk Form for Rickety Bridge, which could potentially be a thing. Oh, it said its base power there, so it actually did lose a power. Alright, looks like it's just Sentry this turn, and then next turn into Snowguard plus Loki. But I think Collector's still going to be really good for me in Quantum Realm. Plus, I could always move Werewolf back in later. Maybe I don't want to play Sentry, though. Because I can't actually deal with the Void this turn. So Loki for 3? Is this... It's not Cerebro 2. That doesn't make any sense. They're going to have Daredevil Sight next turn. Let's just play this. I don't love my spot right now. Okay, Carnage, fair enough. I really don't know what they're playing other than like maybe they're a bot or something. We do definitely have priority here. It seems like it's kind of Cerebro 2-ish. And then I'm playing like Storm, Daredevil, Korg. Yeah, I want to have space open in Rickety Bridge going into the penultimate turn. So I think I'll play it like this. Pick up the Rock and the Korg. Resetting the Rock is pretty good for Quantum Realm. They do get some nice information here. Knowing that I'm going to storm the Rickety Bridge means that they can play to it this turn.
Wind, aid my
I don't know. This seems like a very weird Cerebro 2 deck so far. With Angela and Carnage that obviously don't actually work in the deck. Oh, I missed that. I messed that up. I forgot Storm was an on-reveal. My fault. Alright, Storm takes down the Quantum Realm. And Viper is just a way to sneak in some extra power here right now. Fair enough. So I feel like they're going to give me this one. Oh, this is the final turn of the game. Oh, there really isn't a give me this one, is there? The fact that these locations are flooded does not matter. They can play for Sakaar, but they do have to commit here, because I am currently winning in Sakaar. So that gives me some nice considerations here. And then I feel like the play is Korg Hood. Puts me up to 10 in the flooded location, 10 in Sakaar, and then a whole bunch of power in this flooded location. I don't think I'm going to get better than that. And for 2 cubes, this is a fine gamble on potentially allowing me to hit infinite. Could have something like a Shadow King or Shang-Chi. Alright, Hobgoblin is going to take me in Sakaar, but that only leaves him with 1 more energy. Iceman, in no universe is that doing anything. Maybe it just was a bot, but either way, I'm infinite for the Hellfire Gala season with AnnihiLoki. Pretty straightforward games here, I think, to say today. Nothing too crazy, but we will claim our card back here nonetheless. I am right in the top 4K players with about 7.5K snap points, and there we are. There is AnnihiLoki. I'll throw it up on the screen here so we can take a look at it in all its glory. But for today, that is going to be it for me. So thank you guys very much for watching. I'm NoLucksGiven. Peace.